I hope everybody is doing well today. As always, I wanted to give an update on what's happening in Washington, D.C. this week. Now, first of all, we have to talk about Ukraine. It is obvious to the world that a thug violated the sovereignty of a neighboring nation in a move unlike anything Europe has seen since World War II. Everybody has seen the news and the stories of Ukrainians who do not want to be a part of communist Russia. They are inspiring people around the world, and I think we can proudly say that Goliath of Russia may very well have met David in Kiev. But they are going to need more than just a slingshot, and the United States of America needs to do more to support them in their fight. I firmly believe that as much as nobody wants to be in the Ukraine, if we do nothing, everyone will end up in the Ukraine. It is clear that the sanctions imposed by the U.S. and the rest of the Western world have not deterred Vladimir Putin. They've only encouraged his nuclear saber rattling and escalation of nuclear posture. We need to be united in this fight and make it clear that Putin will remain an international pariah and that Europe will no longer be dependent on Russian energy. And likewise, that the United States of America should not be dependent on Russian energy. It should be a wake-up call for President Biden that it is crucial that we get our own house in order. That means securing America's southern border. That means reversing course on energy policy that took our nation from an energy-independent country to an energy-dependent country in less than 1 year. The sanctions that are going on against Russia are important, but without sanctioning their energy, with the kind of total commitment that Vladimir Putin has to invade the Ukraine, without that level of commitment, which means sanctioning their energy, then it's like sanctioning a farmer without putting sanctions on their crops. It is nonsensical and it will not be effective. Now, during its first meeting since the invasion, I pressed the State Department officials testifying in the House Foreign Affairs Committee to admit that dependency on Russian energy weakens everybody. It weakens Europe. It weakens the United States of America. It weakens our ability to conduct diplomacy and to make a commitment to lead the charge in uniting the West against the usage of Russian resources. Unfortunately, our State Department declined. Should Europe and the West divest, Western Europe and the Western world divest of Russian energy, in your opinion?
You know, I think that there's a lot of rethink, and there will be, about energy security worldwide.
That wasn't surprising because, unfortunately, President Biden also failed to offer that kind of commitment during his State of the Union address. In fact, he failed to offer any real plans at all. His speech was hollow, a great deal of talk that has not matched his actions for the last year. He called for products to be made in America, but he was the one that canceled American-made energy. He talked about decreasing the deficit, but failed to admit and recognize that his $2 trillion American Rescue Plan meant that we will have to ask Congress to raise the debt limit multiple times in the years to come. He talked about getting kids back to school, but failed to admit that it was his policies and his deference to the teachers, the unions, that kept them out of the classroom for the last 2 years. He talked about funding the police, but he's been silent as American cities burned. He talked about veterans' health care, but failed to so much as mention the 13 American heroes who were killed because of his withdrawal from Afghanistan. President Biden spoke for about 62 minutes, but he never said the one word that he should have: sorry. Lastly, on the House floor, some good news out of our Veterans Affairs Committee. The House passed legislation that will expand eligibility for combat veterans who were exposed to toxic substances in so-called burn pits while they were serving overseas. This is a prevalent problem, one that I witnessed firsthand and in a future date will speak in length on. When I was serving in Afghanistan, trash and human waste were often burned in open air pits. These burn pits are emerging as the Agent Orange of my generation's war. We've made progress, but much more has to be done, which is why I was proud to vote in favor of that legislation. As always, it is an honor to represent you as your member of Congress. I wish you all the best.